So coming up now, we've got an interesting, theme-based, because the theme is complete control, and it's about MYOB Advanced and you as users of MYOB Advanced. So with Stephen, are you there, Stephen? Can I bring you in here?
I'm here, Steve. I'm here.
You're Stephen. That's good. I just want to make sure you knew your name, because the concussion from the hitting that rock. I know the rock smashed into little pieces, but concussion tablets are working. I see. That's good.
They're going well, Glenda. Thank you. They're going well.
Very good. So, without further ado, hand to you, Stephen, on what we're going to look at, as I say, is the introduction of the session in our title theme being complete control, with the context of MYOB Advanced. So, over to you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Grant. Do appreciate it. So in this session, we really want to get into the product. We're going to have Susanna taking us through some of the aspects of MYOB Advanced that lend to this theme of complete control. But to start with, I just wanted to give a little bit of an overview of this concept of the connected business and the focus on complete control. Now, MYOB launched this concept of the connected business a few years ago, and we've actually been taking this as a series of themes for the user groups as a way of giving some structure to the conversation and different elements of the way MYOB Advanced can be used within our business. There's a lovely definition that MYOB have provided here, which I'll let you read. But at the end of the day, this is about how we get greater connection within our business and greater alignment in our business between our people and our processes and the technology that drives it. At the end of the day, MYOB Advanced is a great piece of software, but it is just a piece of technology, and it's inefficient without hopefully the high-performing teams that we build and the efficient processes that leverage the technology. So the three of those do need to go hand in hand. And in some respects, the goal of the connected business is that our people and our processes and the technology that underpins it are so aligned that we remove that friction, we remove that manual process and effort, so that we're not distracted by a lot of that day-to-day stuff. It can just happen. And we can focus more on the tasks that actually bring more elevated value, that are more strategic, that are more valuable to our customers and our suppliers alike. Typically, a lot of organizations are very disconnected. That might be multiple line of business applications that are in place that aren't integrated. Some of these dots might be represented by manual spreadsheets or manual systems, or of course the pieces of paper that sometimes flow throughout our organizations. But our goal is to connect those points, remove that friction, reduce that manual process that needs to happen. And in terms of the connected business, we talk to four kind of main pillars, being complete control, the empowered workforce, real-time insights, and experiences that matter. In our last user groups, we actually talked to the theme of experiences that matter. And in this one, we're talking to this theme of complete control. Now, in a lot of respects, that concept of complete control has a lot of focus around the financial aspect, the need to ensure that we have a single source of truth around our finances. But a lot of this is actually about it's about the workflows, the processes that we have in place to ensure that our processes are de-risked and have the integrity that we need them to have. And it's also about ensuring that our people have the visibility that they need to manage their processes and have control and the ability to identify the exceptions when they need to be acted on. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring in Susanna. Are you there, Susanna?
Yes, hello.
Fantastic. Welcome. Good to have you on board today.
Thank you.
So I'm going to hand straight back over to you, and looking forward to a great session. Great session, Susanna. No pressure.
All good. Thanks, Stephen. Thanks for that great introduction. So, yeah, let me share my screen. And down here. Okay. So I assume everyone can see my screen. I'll just get a quick nod. Yep. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to be tackling this idea of complete control on a number of different fronts that the system offers. So we're going to leverage the strengths of Advanced and particularly focus on 4 different areas when it comes to this idea of control. So user access, approvals and financial delegations, audit features and notifications around audit tracking and audit history changes, and this idea of process automation, which is right throughout the platform. There are different elements of process automation right through each module that Advanced offers. So let me dive into the system now. Okay, so I've landed on an AP dashboard. So this is the sort of landing page of a typical AP user. And I thought to showcase those 4 areas, I would take you through a journey in the day of the life of an AP role, an AP user, and just showcase some of the features around the accounts payable process that the complete control elements come out. Okay, so we're going to start by having a look at some of the access configuration for an AP user, and then moving into creating a purchase order, taking that through to accounts payable and seeing different points of authorization that are required, approval, you know, changing bank account details and what the system can do around that. And then we'll finish off by having a look at the deferrals, which is, I don't know if you know, whoever's using that will be familiar, but if you're not using the deferral function in the system, then it's a good opportunity to have a look at what that offers and how that process can be automated in Advanced. Okay, so you're going to see me using this search key a lot at the top. As you may be aware, there's a lot of options around configuring security and access rights for users. It can be done by role, by user, by screen. So if we have a look at this option for access rights by screen, we can see if I went into my payables area, it brings through all of the different roles that are available in the system. Okay. And as I expand the payables area, you can see that that will bring through all the related functions to accounts payable. And if we have a look at, for example, the supplier details screen, we can see that the system will allow us to configure different access rights for different roles. So you'll see some are granted, some are not set. If we move through, we can see some are completely set to delete, which means full access. You can change these to say, you know, this AR admin should be revoked, for example. So the system will allow that level of access configuration. What you may not be aware is that the system does also offer what we call row level security. So that simply then means that we can go into each screen and then define at a field level, at a row level, what the access rights should be. Now, at the moment in this environment, they're inheriting from the root access point, but you can individually configure per role what the access rights are for each of these fields in the system. So just a bit of a highlight around that. Okay. Let us now sidestep and move into the purchase order workflow that I was talking about. I'm going to open up a purchase order and I'm going to create a PO. And what I'm going to do is just keep it nice and simple and just do a simple insurance purchase. So we've got our upcoming insurance due for renewal. So GIO is my supplier, and I will add in my document. Okay, and I might make this 3600. Okay. As I take this off hold, the next steps here will be that the system now has detected there's an approval map associated with my purchase orders, which I can see on this approval details tab. You can see that the approver assigned to this is myself, Susanna, today, and that's coming from that purchase order 1 level approval map available in the system. Okay, so Susanna should then receive an email notification. So if we have a look at the all emails option, you'll see that the system has emailed PO. Okay, it should be emailing a email to the approver. I'm not sure what's happened there. Yeah, we'll just save that and then it's off. Excellent. And then there we go. There's our purchase order awaiting approval. So there's a few options there. The user will receive the email. They can click the hyperlink in the email. I do have my emails turned on here. I'm just gonna, got this Zoom panel at the top, hides everything. So let me just bigger. And the system will push through an email coming through shortly. Alternatively, we can, which I've got my mobile device shared here, we can jump into the app and click approvals. And then you'll see there's my purchase order for GIO. We tap it from here and click on the ellipsis button and hit approve. Okay, and then the system will toggle that to approved. You see this over here indicating that it is approved. On this screen as well, if you are responsible for approving multiple elements within the system, you will be able to see that you can just hit the edit button at the top and then just select which transactions you wish to approve, and then you've got this approve option down the bottom left hand corner. Okay, so let me minimize that one. Okay, and there's my email that's come in. It says, dear manager, you've got now PO. There's the hyperlink that we can click. Okay, so if we go back into our purchase order and I just refresh that, we should see the status change. And that should now be on the status of pending email. So the system just takes a few seconds to issue that email. So what I have enabled in the system is automatic emailing of purchase orders upon approval. So you'll see that if I go into there, it's pending processing. This is the actual email that gets issued to the supplier. At the moment, you can see the mailing status is pending processing. Should take a couple of seconds and that will go out. And once that gets issued, then we'll be able to proceed with this PO. You can obviously manually email the purchase order if you need to as well. Okay, so let's see, seconds. So I'm just going to override that option. Here now, keep going. Okay. So now it's on a status of open and the email's been processed. You can see if I refresh my email screen, there it is there. And then if I move into my email, there is my email notification to my supplier now to say, please find attached your purchase order document. Okay, once the users receive their tax invoice, they're able to come in and now process this purchase order. So I'm going to go into actions and enter my AP bill. Everyone, most of the users on this meeting should be familiar with this screen. I've got the option of entering my accounts payable, not option, it's mandatory field. So you have to enter your tax invoice reference. And the other thing I'm going to do is just come into the lines here and enter a deferral code. So I've got one set up in the system for expenses that automatically amortizes expenses across a 12-month period range. So there is a whole area in the system where you can configure the deferral codes. You can have them 12 months, 6 months, whatever the case may be. And I'm going to take that one off hold. And that's moved on to a status of pending approval. So what also can happen in these situations is that if bank account details change, you may want to update that on the screen here. You might have additional controls in place that only certain users can update that. But we have set the system so that it does track any changes to the supplier business account. So if I was to click on the little pencil and go into the payment settings tab and modify, for example, their BSB number, the system will track. This takes a couple of seconds to save. In my audit history, the system will then track these changes. You can see that under this value field here, we've got the new value of changing SBS changed to 012557. So we can enable this field level auditing as well, and that can be done system-wide on various screens. Okay, so let's take this off hold. Again, I've got an approval map set for the bills and adjustments screen. Okay, and I'm just going to approve that today. Again, the same workflow would kick in. The approver receives the email, they'll have to come in and approve that. And I'm going to release this through to the GL now. And while that's happening, you'll notice that the system has also been configured to fire off an email upon any changes to supplier bank details. So I, as the security admin user, can see I've received an email, your supplier GIO insurance, there's been a change made, and you can go into the system and we've got a nice little report configured here that tells me supplier banking detail audit. I've also got this pinned to my dashboard. But this will tell me all the changes made, the date, the user, and then the resulting value as well. Okay, just to finish off, let's have a sneak peek into what this deferral code does. So I have entered a deferral code, and once I've released this to the general ledger, I can view the schedule that gets automatically created by the system. And you'll see how the system has now, in fact, amortized this across future periods and created this schedule. Okay. And there's a few options around running and how this schedule gets executed. Typically speaking, there is, there's two options. You can manually run the recognition at the end of the month. Some of our users like to just have a look at what upcoming recognition journals are and then just process that at the top of the screen here. Alternatively, if I was to extend this to March, for example, we'll see there's my GIO transaction for $300. So there it is, it's appended to the end of my recognition deferral schedules. Alternatively, you can create and add this to an automation schedule. So this is this concept of set and forget. You create the schedule and then the system will run this in the background according to the schedule that's been created. So you'll see here that I can then set when it starts, when it expires, if there's any execution limits, and then the conditions of the actual schedule, when it should start, as I said, when it should start and stop, and then is it weekly, monthly, etc. Okay. So yeah, that's sort of that end-to-end process. And on that note, hopefully I've demonstrated those 4 different elements that are strengths within the system to enhance the security and control that users have in the platform. So thank you all, and we'll be handing back to Grant, I believe. Thank you.